Okay, everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the Romania Musclefest Pro coming up this weekend in Bucharest, Romania. Joining me is the guy who's going to be doing the webcast commentary along with his girl, Lauren Lauder. Please welcome all the way from the United Kingdom, Giles Tiger Thomas. What's up, Giles?
How you doing, Ron?
Doing great, sir. Doing great. You like my Aruba? You like the shirt?
Where's Aruba?
It's somewhere. It's the Dutch. It's where, you know, where Rollies for Curacao. It's somewhere in that general area. It's the Dutch.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, my wife went there on vacation. All I got was this crappy shirt, but you know, at least I got something. So these post-Olympia shows, Giles, man, we're getting some good lineups. I'm actually surprised at the quality and the depth of these lineups. First of all, you've been to this show once, twice, three times, lady?
I've never been to the Romania show.
Really? Oh boy, this will be a first.
Yeah, but I've been to Romania and I loved it. I went to Cluj a couple of years ago and it's beautiful. Absolutely. Romania is just an enchanting country. It's stunning. Can't wait.
Are you going to go to Dracula's castle?
Yes, if we get time, yes.
No, you got to go. Come on. You have to. Well, I would, if I went, I would have to go. It would be a must. I would miss my flight to go. So we're going to start off with the open class because didn't expect Samson Dauda to keep on going now that he's won his first pro show. He's got his qualification for the 2022 Olympia. I thought he'd be like, all right, I'm good. Peace out. I'll see you next year. But I see his name on the list. And I'm sure you've been in touch with Samson. So he's got to be the heavy favorite going into this. I'm looking at the list and yeah, it looks like Samson could have 2 weeks, two wins in 2 weekends.
Well, I spoke to Samson it was on the Sunday night or the Monday, and I said, so what are you doing now? Are you shutting it down until next year? And he says, no, he said, I've already booked my flights. He said, I booked my flights before because I think it's not that he didn't think he could win. He wanted to just do all the shows. So he got so many points that he just definitely qualified for the Olympia. But even before the win last week, he had 14 points. And he said, I'll just keep going. I'll do Prague, Romania. He probably would have done Alicante as well. And he just said, I'm just going to keep going. So obviously he's got the win now, but he said he'd already booked the flights. And you know what Milos is like? Milos is just like, keep competing. And because he just likes his guys to do every single show, because that's exactly what he did when he was a pro.
Right.
But yes, I said to Milos, Samson says, no, he said, I'm doing it. He said, I need the money. He said, I want the money. He said, and I've already booked my flights. He said, so Milos wants me to do it. So I'm going to do it.
I mean, why not? I don't see anyone on this list that I'd be worried about if I were Samson. Like, oh no, why did I sign up for this? I'm going to get my ass kicked. I think he's definitely got to be the heavy favorite for this. Because do you feel like he's been getting better and better at every show, or how would you rate his condition as the shows have gone on?
I thought his condition last week in Prague wasn't as good as it was at Egypt, but he came in fuller for the pre-judging, and I think the look really suited him. I know isn't it weird that somehow you can not come in as hard, but your physique can look better? Because the thing is with Samson, he's got such beautiful lines. Because in Egypt, he was definitely harder, but there wasn't as much pop and fullness to his physique. So, I mean, when he came out the pre-judging, I was watching the live stream, and when he came out of pre-judging, I could see he wasn't quite as dry, but he just looked so fuller and rounder. And it was such an eye-catching look because he got such nice aesthetics. I mean, he's really got that kind of 93 Flex Wheeler, 2018 Sean Roden kind of the kind of aesthetics, the way he angles his body, the balance, the symmetry. And I mean, you know, so I haven't spoke to him. I'm speaking to him tomorrow actually for Global. But I want to find out, because I know that Milos likes to manipulate and do different looks for different shows. But for me, I really like the pre-judging look he did at Prague last week. But yeah, I would think he's, isn't it funny to think he's actually going in as the favorite for a show this big now? I mean, that shows you how far he's come. I mean, he beat Nathan D'Asher at the pre-judging at the Arnold UK, and then Nathan beat him at the night show. And he's been getting seconds and thirds in big shows, and he's took out a lot of names now. He's took out Raphael, he's took out, Regan. I mean, think of Rollies, and I mean, these are big names he's taken out. I mean, you know, it's incredible how he's turned it around from last year, because last year was so disastrous for him. And now he's going in, because I said to him, I said, I believe you'll be in the 2022 Olympia, and I think you'll be top 10. And he said, oh, that'd be an absolute dream. And he said, I will just keep going until, he said, I get so many points that there's no way that anyone can knock me off. He says, because I will be in that Olympia next year.
You should let him use these points for 2023, you know, because he doesn't need them now. He's got the win. He doesn't need them anymore.
Yeah.
Or sell them to somebody. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
But, so the runner-up in Prague was Raphael from Brazil. And yeah, I see this as another showdown between those two. I see it 1-2, with most likely if Samson beat him in Prague, I don't see why he's not going to beat him in Romania. All other things considered, and we talked about, we don't see a lot of improvement in Raphael, but maybe he doesn't need to improve at this level. Maybe once he gets to the Olympia, the Arnold level, that's when he's going to have to probably step up the size a little bit if he wants to be in contention for the win. But seems like they have no issues with his size here, because he almost, I don't know what the score, how close the scores were in Czech Republic, but he was right up there. He was there was a blowout, Samson all the way.
He was straight first, straight seconds.
Okay. Yeah.
But Raphael, it's funny because when I watched the live stream, I didn't see huge improvements, but when I've actually looked at photos and I've really analyzed them, he has made some improvements. He's made some, but for me, he's doing kind of what Ramy did a couple of years ago. He's a kind of a bigger, same version of himself. It's like before he was very bottom heavy. Now his quads are bigger, his upper body's bigger, but it's the same balance. It's the same lower body, he's heavy in the lower body. But I mean, it's funny because Fuad on the live stream said that he has a weak back, and I don't think he's got a weak back at all. I think his back shots, his real lat spread and his real bicep, lights out shots. I think they look incredible. I've really studied the photos, the high quality photos since. And I think he looks, honestly, I really think Samson is really going to have to sort of pull it out the bag to stay out in front of Raphael, because I've got a feeling that Raphael, it's like you said, it's going to come down to Samson versus Raphael. But if Raphael can pull ahead a couple of percent, I think he could win this. I really do. But it just depends on how they tweak, because at the end of the day, that's his first show of the year last week. This is Samson's done several shows. So will Raphael get better? Will Samson get worse? I don't know. I mean, I suppose we'll know when they first come out at the pre-judging, but I think this is going to be a real nail biter. I think it's going to be very, very close, this one.
I suspect Raphael will be sharper, because if you watched his face when he got second place and he was up there for the awards, he was not happy. He was clearly very disappointed. He didn't show any poor sportsmanship or anything, but it was very, very obvious. Either he thought he had to win and didn't get it, or, he's just disappointed because he gave everything he had and he came up short by one place. But I would not be surprised if he's significantly sharper or whatever can be done. We've seen so much happen this year with people doing things in the span of a week or two. So it could very well change.
Well, I spoke to Raphael today, and he said, I always say that. He says, I'm going to bring a better package this week. But like I said, that was his first show of the season, and Samson's had a few to try different looks. So I've got a feeling it's not going to be a straight first, straight second. I think it's going to be a lot closer, and I really can't say who I think will win in this one, because I think it'll come down to those two.
Yeah. So next on the list I want to talk about is from Canada, Quintin Aria. I haven't seen him on stage since his pro debut at the Toronto Pro, which must have been at least 2 years ago, because they didn't have that show the last 2 years. So it was either 2018 or 19. Super. Okay. So I was super impressed with him. You tell me, because people are going to say, Ron, you didn't do your research, but I don't think he's competed since then, has he?
Yes, he did.
We did. See,
he competed last year. I'm trying to think of the show he did. Was it Chicago? He did. Or Toronto. He's done a couple of shows, and he didn't. There was no Toronto,
so it must have been Chicago. And I was there, so yeah. I was there and I didn't remember it. Oh boy, guys.
I think he definitely slipped back a bit last year. In 2019, that was the Vancouver show when obviously Hadi and Nathan were there. And I forget what his placing was, but he looked really, really good at that show. He was very sharp, very full. Last year, he looked okay. He did okay. I can't remember the placing. Sorry. Yeah. But okay. He definitely, I expected more improvement, and I didn't really see it last year. I know there was problems with the pandemic and being able to train and everything, but this year with the photos I've been seeing, I spoke to Quint today as well. Actually, Quintin, I spoke to him today. I've got his number. So I'll be chatting away to him. So because he flies out tomorrow. Flies out tomorrow. He lands in Romania tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, the photos I've been seeing. What is he? Still 26, 27?
He's a young dude, and man. And he was drug-free up until fairly recently too. I just feel like throwing that out there because
hate him.
Well, no, it just shows you the potential he has. Because I think when I saw him compete, either he had just given up that status or he was still drug-free. Because up until 2 weeks away from the show, something that close, him and his coach Dorian Hamilton, they were they were contemplating classic or open because
Ooh.
he was that close to the weight cap for classic where they could have done it, but he ended up coming in at like, you know, what he's over he's 6 foot or taller. But yeah, he's bigger now. He's definitely bigger, but beautiful shape on that kid. Trains
Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say he's part of that crew, the Pure Muscle and Fitness gym where Antoine trains, and that's like the hot spot in Toronto now, the hot gym that the Hamilton brothers have.
I mean, Quintin to me has probably the most potential out of. I mean, when you think about some of the 20-somethings that are out and now coming through, the Nick Walkers, the Raphael Brandeos, the Regan Grimes, all this new generation, the Vlad Suhorochkus, these 20-somethings now that are literally winning big shows like the Arnold Classics, and they're literally in their mid-20s. Yeah. I think Quintin is one of those guys that really has the potential to be top 6 Olympic way before he's 30. You know, I really do think. I mean, if you look at his structure, I mean, he's like the kind of Shanique. You know, you just think that's just the genetic shape, the tiny waist, the wide shoulders, the wide clavicles, you know, and 2019 Vancouver, he looked absolutely tremendous. But the thing is, for me, he needs to bring the back up. If he brings the back up, you know, if he's as good from the back as he is from the side and the front with that structure, and he really brings a condition and he's made improvements. I mean, here's a guy to watch. I mean, this guy could literally come in and win this. But I think he's going to fall around 3rd. But I'll be interested to see how his physique has improved, because like I said, I really, really rate this guy, you know, and I love the tall, the wide guys, you know, the small waist, the big quads. I mean, he's a genetic marvel, this kid. Yes, so I'm really excited to see him, and I'm going to be there doing the live stream commentary. So I'm really excited to see him in the flesh. Right on.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what improvements he's made, because when someone's that age, and again, I keep harping on it, when they're that young and they've only been on the super supplements for a brief time, they're still in that phase where they're changing and improving. Like every year, they look different from the last year. Where you know, when I'm picking out pictures for graphics to use for these things, I have to go current, because if I go back even a year or two, they don't look like that anymore. They've already grown. They've already changed so much.
Yeah.
So going from that to this has got to be the biggest man on stage. He's pretty much the biggest man on any stage he goes on, is Francis Morgan Ast, who is 6 foot 13, I think. He's 7'4". He's very tall. I want to say 6'3", and over 300 pounds on stage, something like 312, 315, just a mountain of a man. And, you know, you wrote it's finally coming out in MD, the profile that you wrote on him months ago.
Brilliant.
It kept getting pushed back issue by issue, but it's coming out.
You promised me it'd be in this one, and I was crying. I was crying when it didn't come out, and I was like, did they not like my article on Morgan?
No, man, it's just, I guess it was because it wasn't time relevant. Anyway, it just kept getting pushed back, but it's finally out. The last issue that we just wrapped up. But Morgan, you know, so much muscle, such conditioning. I've never seen him come in anything less than grainy, hard, every little fiber showing. You know, certain poses structurally he has a tough time. He doesn't have the prettiest structure, but you can hide that in a lot of side shots. You can't tell. The side shots are crazy. His back is insane. That's one of the best backs in the sport right now. We talk about other people, but I think I often forget about Morgan Ast. You know, I don't know if it's possible for him to win a show like this, because he's up against people with more gifted shape and structure than him. But in terms of raw muscle mass and conditioning, you know, there's nobody's beating this guy.
That Arnold Classic last year, he was 6'3", 315 or 320. And imagine coming last in a show like the Arnold Classic, but having the best condition by far in the entire show. I mean, imagine. I love this guy's physique. He did Indy Pro, he did New York Pro this year. He was getting top 10s. He was getting 8th, 9th, like that. Yeah, he's doing good. I mean, I think he's still a work in progress. I mean, he actually messaged me today and he says, see you on the weekend, because until I'm literally thinking it was in the last few days I even knew that he was actually competing. I was like, he kept that one quiet, you know? So, I mean, he's just a monster. I'm so excited to see him again. Because I'm a big fan of Morgan. He's a cool guy as well. He was he was a strong man as well. He was France's strongest man in 10 years ago. I wrote in the article. Wrote it a couple of months ago now. But yeah, I would love to see him. I'd love to see him get first call out. I'd love to see him get top 5. Yeah, I'm just excited to see him actually on stage because he's such a freak. I love it, and I love the fact that he's working with what he's got, and he's absolutely bringing incredible conditioning. I really respect that.
Yeah, because I've said it many times before. That's the one thing you can control is your conditioning. Structure, it's God gave that, or your parents gave that to you. You can't change anything about it. Muscle shape, none of that. You can get bigger up to a certain point, but conditioning is the one thing every athlete has full control. That's why I'm so unforgiving when people come in way off. Like you knew what day the contest was. You're a professional athlete, you're a professional bodybuilder. Why aren't you in shape? And Morgan, he's one of the guys I never have to wonder, what kind of shape? Is he going to show up in shape or not? No, he never lets us down. But let's move on, because the next guy I'm scratching my head. Milan Sadek. He's from the Czech Republic. There was a pro show a week ago last weekend. Why wasn't he in that show?
That's true.
Yeah, why would you wait? Why would you not compete in the one pro show in your own country? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe some of the comments will say, well, his cat died or something. I don't know. But anyway, Milan, very, very good. A former 212 guy, moved up to open. Beautiful shape and symmetry, structure. Not the most massive guy, but you know what? Aesthetics are coming up now where I think they're recognizing more aesthetic physiques, more classically shaped physiques. The mass monster days, they're gone. We don't have too many big Ramis walking around on these pro stages anymore. There's really just that one. But Milan, I haven't seen him compete since, was it last spring, or did he do some of the post?
Did he compete a few weeks ago in Yamamoto?
See, I wasn't there. I didn't watch it. So maybe he did. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you see any pictures? Do you remember what he looked like?
Yeah, I love Milan. I mean, this guy's was when he was a 212. He won the Charlotte Pro in 2018 or 2017. Was it 2017? Mm-hmm. He's been top 6 in the 212 Olympia, and then he moved up to the Open, and he did very well. And he won. He's won some shows, and he's bringing a very good pack. And then last year he came in with those dodgy shoulders. And then this year, I'm expecting more from Milan because he's so bloody good, and he's so evenly proportioned. He's one of these guys that can beat guys 50 pounds heavier, but for me, he's not bringing it. So I want to see him better than he was a few weeks ago. And if not, I want to know kind of why, because it's like this guy has so much potential, and he's so complete, and he's so detailed. I don't know why these guys are coming back and they're not improving. I don't understand why. So for me, there's a guy that should be, at his best, with the improvements I kind of expect from an athlete of this level. I would expect this guy to be first call out, top 3, battling for top 3, pushing Raphael, pushing Samson, and all these other guys. And I really would expect him to be top 5. If he's not top 5, then he needs to look at what he's doing and really kind of shake himself up a little bit and come back and really kind of, make some significant improvements, because he's a guy that started off so strongly in his career. And he's so bloody good. It's really frustrating to see guys like that coming in second level pro shows and coming like 8th, 9th, 10th. It's like, he's better than that. He needs to be up there in that top 3. He needs to be winning shows like this.
Well, maybe I'm speculating. Maybe that's why he skipped the Prague show. Maybe he knew exactly what he needed to do and how much time he would need to do it. And maybe he's going to bring that look, because he should never be out of the first call out, Milan. Never.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a talking to in Romania this weekend if he's not looking good. I'm going to pull him aside and say, mate, what's up? Come on, tell me. Tell Gilesy. Come on, tell Tiger. Tell me what's going on. We need to, because you're bloody good, mate, and you're worthy to be. He could be a top 10 Olympic guy, because look at him. He's from every single angle. He's so complete. What was he in the New York Pro a couple of years ago? Was he top 6? I'm sure he was top 6.
Oh yeah, I want to say he was like 3rd or 4th.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, he was fantastic, and that was he beat Buddersheim and everything. I mean,
we beat a lot of guys. He beat a lot of guys. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and he's, like I said, his career started off really, really well, and then it kind of just dipped off a little bit. And I'm puzzled why, because I expect more from guys of this kind of potential. Yeah.
Well, you'll get the whole story. I have no doubt. Maybe even a little interview. Who knows? We'll see. But okay, a couple more guys in the Open. Very good. This gentleman was in the show in Prague last weekend from Germany. His name is Omir, Emir. I don't think I can read my own writing, but I think it's Omiragic from Germany.
Correct. Sounds right.
Which is like a Bulgarian name, I think.
German. No, he's German though. He's German. Well, he's from Germany.
Anyway, yeah. I don't, honestly, I wasn't paying attention to anyone really outside of the first call out when I was watching the web stream. So tell me about Omir.
He was 7th place last week in his pro debut, and he's 22 years old.
Wow. Okay.
And if you look at his Instagram, he posted a picture today of him stood in a quarter turn with Rulli, and he compares very, very well.
Okay.
So he's Chris Acito's boy as well. He's and I tell you what, his back shots were absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, some of the best back shots in the entire lineup at Prague last week. And I mean, 22. What can you say? I mean, what do you expect from a 22-year-old? You know, and if you're sort of, I mean, he was the top of the second call out. You know, so he was 1 spot away from top 6 in a very competitive show in Prague last week. So for a pro debut, I mean, the kid is just sitting pretty. You know, he's doing great. You know, so I'm excited to see that he's competing again this week. I think it's smart. I think it's good to get some experience. And here's a guy. I mean, here's another guy in the 20-somethings that are coming up. These new ranks, this new breed. I mean, you know, even in 2 years, he could be a force, and he'd still be only 24.
22. My son is 22. My God, that is so young.
Yes. Stuck's older than him.
Oh, definitely. Last guy we're talking about in open. I think I'll do a good job with this name. It's a Persian name. He's from Iran. His name is Behrooz, Behrooz Taban, last name Arbargani. Not familiar with him, but I know Iran is putting out some amazing talent lately. You know, we've been hearing all along the past couple of years, King Kamali's been saying, you guys have no idea how many great bodybuilders there are in Iran. They just can't get out. You don't know about them because they can't leave. They have a lot of trouble getting visas and competing outside of Iran, but we're starting to see them trickle out. And I'm guessing this guy's pretty damn good if he's from Iran.
You know, preps him?
No, we're gonna Milos.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah, Milos preps him. Because I was chatting.
That's right. This is the guy that couldn't get the visa to go to the Prague show, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So there you have it. I saw the pictures. I was like, wow, this guy is really good.
I mean, the upper body looks like it's like Hadi level. I mean, I'm sure I'll get some shit for that, but I mean, it's that level of thickness and density and detail, and I mean, it's like a national DNA trait, isn't it? This level of thick. I mean, it must be the way they train. It must be genetic. It must be but Milos really, really rates him. And Milos sent me some pictures, and I looked at his upper body. His upper body is incredible. I do think his legs are slightly behind his upper body. But I mean, if they can get shredded, you know, maybe we could see something really impressive here. You know, I mean, this is, but like I said, Milos was really hyping this guy to me. Was it about 3 or 4 days ago? I think it was Sunday night. He messaged me about him, and he said, "Look, watch out for my guy." He said he's really, really good, and he sent me some pictures, and I was just like, "Holy shit!" I said because I couldn't work out his height, and I said, "Is he a 212 or is he open?" He says, "Oh no, I think I could check the message, but I'm sure he said he's like 240s. I'm sure it was. Wow. So he's a big guy, you know. So you know, it could be another superstar in the making coming out, you know, making his debut at this event. So it's very exciting.
Right on. All right, let's move on to 212. Now the list changed from last night when I was looking at it to shortly before we started recording, and I saw this one name, and he's won. How many shows has this guy won now? Angel Calderon Frias from Spain. Man, if a contest is happening outside the USA, he's probably winning. I mean,
yeah.
Doesn't he usually win? He's won how many? You've seen him win already a few shows in person, haven't you?
Well, he came into the Olympia last year on 4 pro wins that year. That he qualified 4 times by winning 4 shows.
Yeah.
It was we won the Romania the year before. He won the show last year, so he's a defending champion.
Okay.
He won the British Grand Prix. He won Alicante, and I forget what the other show was. Another show in Europe, I'm sure it was.
Maybe Portugal.
Yeah, it might have been Portugal. Yeah. So he was 4th place at the Olympia. I mean, at the Olympia, his placings have been 10th, 7th, 4th. I mean, he's
freezing on me. Giles is frozen, everybody. I'm hoping
really excited to see who he's going up against, because I think I wanted to really see them side by side. And it's actually someone he has beat at the Olympia, who we'll come to in a minute. But yeah, Angel Calderon, what a freak! The conditioning, the density, the muscle, the thickness. I haven't seen him on stage since the 2019 Olympia when I was with MD.
Right.
Made significant improvements since then.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, he has. I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer that he has to be the favorite coming into this.
I mean, the favorite on my list prior to checking it was last week's winner, Ahmad Ashkanani, who looked really good. I still kind of favored Ole Kurvi a little bit. I probably would have given Ole the win.
Me too.
But Ahmad Ashkenani, night and day difference from the Olympia. I'll tell you that, because at the Olympia, he was a water buffalo. He was so bloated. He wasn't like fat or anything, but not a lot of separation, especially the legs had 0 cuts in them. He just came in really big, full and watery. And then last week, when I hadn't seen him since the Olympia, last week he tightened up considerably for the Prague show and won that. So it's probably going to be a very, very good battle between Ahmad Ashkenani and Angel Calderon Frias. Based on what I've seen Angel do, I'd have to give Angel the nod in this one based on past performance in recent shows. But Ahmad's on a roll too, so it's gonna be a tough one.
Well, Ahmad at the pre-judging, I mean, going back to last week, at the pre-judging, I had Ole Krivier as the clear winner. I think everyone did. But what Ahmad did for the night show, he looked really, I mean, it was like, I think the thing from this year I can take is how much bodybuilders can change their bodies from not just in a period of hours, but over a week, 2 weeks, Austin Carr and Phil Clayhar. But like I said, also what these guys can do from the pre-judging to the night show. I mean, I looked at the pre-judge and I was like, well, it's pretty much the same. Ahmad, impressive, thick, but lacking separation. He wasn't really popping. Comes back at the night show and everything was just absolutely exploding. And it's like, okay, I'm not actually disagreeing with the fact that he won this. I'm not, whereas if it'd been based upon what we saw at the pre-judging. So I'm really, really excited to see the rematch between these two, because I always said that I think about 2019, I think I said I always wanted to see Ahmad and Angel next to each other because they're kind of similar height, similar thickness. In fact, probably Ahmad actually upper body wise is actually probably even a little bit thicker than Angel Calderon, but Angel has the conditioning, the superior conditioning, the separation, and now he's brought his legs up. I think they're at a level now where I think it's going to be a real exciting battle. And I honestly, I mean, I prefer Angel Calderon's, but I would not be shocked if Ahmad, improved again over last week. Thing is, he's got a bit of ground to make up as well. I think he's really hungry because I think he, it really killed him, only making sixth at Olympia. But here's a guy that was second 2 years running, dropped to fourth, dropped to fifth, and now he's dropped to sixth. So I think he's really wanting to kind of shut it down with a couple of wins and then really get himself fired up for next year. Because sometimes when they take a step back, it can really mess with their minds, and it can also fire them up to really kind of pull it out the bag, to really go for it for these kinds of shows for preparation for next year.
Yeah, well, he must be fired up because he's already qualified. He doesn't need to keep competing. Yeah. He just wants to keep winning. Maybe, I don't know. I can't imagine he needs the money because I think all those guys in Oxford Gym they're all set. They don't really need to worry much about money, but it's a cool situation. But still, yeah, I want to see that rematch. Now, third place in Prague last weekend was Radoslav Angelov from Bulgaria. Great physique. All I'd want to see on this guy is a little more leg development, and then I think he'd be right where he needs to be. But still, he's overall very, very impressive, and he'll be in that first call out. He'll be battling these guys.
It's funny, it's like I said with Samson, bringing like a not as hard look for Prague, and I'm actually preferring it. Like normally, like I'm like you with but I'm starting to see that some physiques sometimes can actually look very, very, sometimes a little bit better visually by not coming in quite as dry, because some of these guys flatten out. And I think it's maybe the guys like with the really nice shapes and the really round, bubbly, thick muscle. And Radoslav is one of those guys, because I saw him at Alicante in the NPC European back in August when I was out there. And he was really dry, shredded, glutes were dry. And the judge, and I thought he looked great, but the judges didn't even put him in top 3. And I was really shocked because I think he was I think it was 4th or 5th or 6th. But it was like, for me, he looked like a standout. He came to the Prague last weekend and he wasn't quite as dry, but he looked so much fuller and rounder. And I thought it was a really nice look. So be interested to see what he brings this week. But I mean, for me, I thought last week I was watching the live stream. It was like a wow, like his back, and his back is so thick, but he's got a really nice shape, nice big peak biceps, freaky muscle bellies. So if he could come in a touch drier than last week, yeah, he's a threat for top 3, 100%.
Cool. And top 4, 4th place right behind him last weekend in Prague was a gentleman from, I'm not really sure, he's from Kuwait, I believe, Abdul Rahman Al Kashti. Maybe he's not from Kuwait. But yeah, I was very impressed with him. Size, shape, everything was there. Just need to be a little tighter. And he's had a week. I can't imagine he's not going to be tighter for this one. So anytime you have a physique that's got everything but the condition you're looking for, it's just another step to get that. It's not like he's missing a body part. It's not going to bring up a body part in a week, but condition, you said we've seen a change in hours. This guy's had a whole week, so we'll see. We'll see if he tightens up.
Yeah. No, I rate him. Like I said, I wasn't really familiar with him until last week, and I think he deserved his place. I think he looked great, and if he can go in a bit tighter, then like I totally agree, he'll be definitely in the first call out and fighting it out.
Right on. And then Peter Kovac, Germany. Where's he from? I'm not really sure, but he was 5th place in Czech Republic. Huge quads on this guy. You know, I'm a big fan of the leg development. I'm always impressed. Yeah, he'll be fighting it out too. This is a great lineup. It's very similar to last weekend, but then you throw Angel in there into the mix to make things a lot more interesting. What about Peter?
Peter, yeah, really impressive. I know Fuad really liked him. I think he thought he was robbed last week, but maybe a bit of bias there. I don't know, but no, Peter Kovac, very impressive. He looked tall as well, and maybe there's a guy that could be destined to go open. I mean, I don't know visually, but to me he looked. But here's a guy I'd never even heard of him before. So last week, I was impressed with him, and I think I think he'll do well here as well. And
from Kuwait, we have Nasser Mohammed. Seen him a couple times in these shows outside the US. I don't think I've seen him here yet, but he got a good look in Prague. This is I guess all these guys can't be in the first call out, but so far all the names we've spoken about, they're worthy of first call out if they show up in shape. So what do you recall about Nasser?
Nasser Mohammed, is that the guy who got 7th at Olympia?
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't remember him.
I've got it in my head. I might be completely wrong. I'm so sorry, but is that the guy Nasser that got 7th at the Olympia?
It's possible.
Check. I could have said nothing, but I feel like I should, because if that's the guy, he's 7th at Olympia and he's bloody good. So
I'm not going to check right now, but I remember seeing him and being impressed. A couple other guys, Jafar. This is another Persian Iranian name, Jafar Nazari Aziz. That's a mouthful. I wasn't familiar with him, but you rate Jafar. You've seen this guy before.
Absolutely crazy structure. I mean, he just looks like he looks like a Hadi, like an open guy. You know, a guy that could do well in the open or the 212. You know, he's got that much thickness and tiny waist, wide shoulders. You know, I've never actually seen this guy compete, in the flesh, but I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy compete. And I think this is actually quite a good lineup, because you've got a couple of big names like Ahmad and you've got Angel, but there's quite a few guys here that, like in the classic, where there's a lot of new names coming in that could really upset things if some of these top guys are off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't write anyone off anymore, because especially with the classic division, many shows I've gone to, the people that I didn't even think were worthy of mentioning in the previews of the show when we would do a preview, and then they end up like winning. I'm like, oh boy, okay. I always say, I'll know who you are after that. From now on, I know who you are. I apologize to the guys. Sorry I didn't mention you, but I never heard of you. I've definitely heard of you now. Last but not least, in the 212, from Italy, and what a great Italian name, Pasquale De Angelo. Pasquale.
Fantastic. I actually had him winning Alicante back in August.
Wow.
He's a little bit taller, but he's one of these guys you think, how is he still 212? Because he looks quite tall, but he's carrying as much thickness as the shorter guys. So I really like his physique. I really rate him. Like I said, I had him winning back in August. So I'll be interested. He'll be another top. I mean, like I said, there's the top 6 for this show. I tell you what, is going to be really, really. I think this is one of the best 212 lineups I've seen, outside of the Olympia, really.
Well, I think it's in general. I think I've seen a lot of 212 lineups this year that were more competitive than the open lineups in the respective shows. 212 divisions, very, very competitive. Very competitive. Women's bodybuilding, because this is a Wings of Strength show. Of course, they always make sure there's a women's bodybuilding division and it gets the recognition it deserves. 2 names I saw on the list that I'm very familiar with. I've seen them before. Mela Ash from the USA, and from Croatia, Branka Njegovic. See, the Croatians will go. The Croatians on the comments will be like, "How could you not know how to pronounce that?" Well, I don't run into that name very often, guys, but I'm gonna give it a try. Let's say the N is probably silent. You think? So maybe it's Jegovic. Well, you've spoken to her. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I had her on Global a couple of months ago, and because I remember seeing her at the 2016 Olympia in the women's physique. Because she won a show in Italy, and it was like, well, she's so good, she's not really the criteria, but they couldn't deny her the victory, if that makes sense. She went to the Olympia and she was like last call out, but she was so shredded. I'm like, hang on a minute, why is this woman still doing women's physique? Because she's clearly the muscularity and depth. I mean, I remember seeing her at the Amateur Arnold when we covered it for MD back in 2013. And I mean, I've never seen her out of condition. I mean, do you know what? Guys should like, the level of conditioning this woman has always brought to every single show is incredible. And then she kept doing women's physique, and it's like, but she kept getting knocked back and getting lower placings. And then eventually, I said on the live stream for Alicante, I said, why is this woman still wins? You know, women's bodybuilding is back now. It's at the Olympia. Please switch to women bodybuilding. And then she messaged me out of the blue a couple of weeks later, and she said, okay, then. People have been telling me for the last 5 years, at least, I should do women's bodybuilding. And I saw your comments, and finally I've made the decision to switch to women's bodybuilding. And then when she came on Global, she said, I'm doing Romania. And I was like, yes. So I'm really, really happy because, do you know what? I think she'll win this. I think she'll win this. I think Mela's in trouble. I think Mela Branca is going to be a really exciting show because you've got two very different sort of physiques. But I tell you what, and I'm interested to see if Branca, now that she's not training for women's physique, comes in even kind of freakier, you know? Because I tell you what, if you look at the condition of her legs, and I said to her, I said, you're like a female Dorian Yates. And she was like, oh my God, that's such a compliment. That's such a compliment. Yeah, so like I said, I might have had a little hand in tipping her over the edge into finally making that decision to switch to female bodybuilding. So I'm really going to be having to sort of, when I'm doing the live stream commentary, try and not go completely crazy. But yeah, really excited to see her finally made the switch.
Well, people told her for years, and it took you, the final person to give the recommendation. So I think you did have a role to play here, Giles. So you will be doing the live stream commentary yourself and your girlfriend Lauren Lauder. Going to do a great job, I'm sure. I'm going to be getting the pay-per-view. Thanks, Jen, picking it up for me. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to just not only the show, but I don't think I've ever watched this. I've never watched one of the streams because you did one in Spain or Portugal a couple months ago.
Alicante, yeah, Alicante in August.
I didn't see that one, but this one I'm going to watch. I really want to hear your insights and opinions and Lauren's as the show goes on. Yeah.
Well, I've actually committed to doing because Alina and Jake said, look, can you just do the Sunday, the pro? Yeah. Because I mean, I did Alicante. I was supposed to do, like I said, I'll do a couple of classes here and there. And eventually I did actually the whole 12 hours. I did every single division because I didn't feel it was fair to kind of go, right, well, I'm not doing men's physique. I'm not doing this class or bikini. I thought I'd rather commit to it. And the thing is, it's the amateur on the Saturday and there's over 350 competitors.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm going to, if I'm going to be there, I'd rather just commit and give everyone that same respect and opportunity of kind of, having that kind of, critique and, and commentary. So I'm going to do both days. I'm going to be exhausted. And of course, we're meeting Ashley Coltwasser out there because she's coming back with us for our Olympia All-Star Tour. We're doing a tour of UK and Spain. And then we're going to be finishing the tour off in Spain, where we're going to be doing the live stream commentary for Alicante as well.
Oh boy. Wow. You get a busy month there, Giles. Wow. Okay. Well then. Basically that's it. We're flying Friday and doing the live stream commentary, and I'm very, very excited. Cool, guys. And I want to let everyone know, as much as Giles says going on, he is going to do some live updates right here on this channel, the Muscular Development YouTube channel, wrap-ups with the results right away. Appreciate that, Giles, because you're there and I'm not, and I would just be faking it, pretending I knew what the hell was going on. But you'll be right there in the midst of all the action. So thank you so much for being able to do that for us. And that's it, guys. Make sure you tune in, get the webcast, support the show, listen to Giles and Lauren. Great lineups here to check out. These post-Olympia shows are very, very high quality this year for sure. And of course, don't forget to watch MD Global Muscle every week. This week, it's going to happen on Friday. We have, because there was electrical work being done on Giles' house and everything, but things happen. So Friday, you can look forward to another episode of MD Global Muscle. I hope this doesn't come out after that. So then I'm looking time-wise. But if it does, just go back and watch it. It's a great show. So that's it. Giles, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it very much. And here's my little spiel. Subscribe to the channel, share the videos, like the videos, comment. We answer most of the comments. Of course, hit always on your notifications so you know when we have videos coming out. We want you to watch our videos. That's why we do them. So yeah, thank you, Giles. And thank you guys for all watching this preview of the Romania Muscle Fest happening this weekend in Bucharest, Romania. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.